Have you ever been in a conversation where you felt like you were on the receiving end of a conversational boomerang? That's boomerasking, a conversational pattern where someone asks a question but redirects the focus back to themselves before you can even answer. It's like throwing a boomerang of self-centeredness into the conversation, leaving the other person feeling unheard and unimportant. Imagine a friend asking, "How was your vacation?" only to interrupt your response with, "Oh, that reminds me of my trip to Hawaii last year." That's a classic example of boomerasking in action. While it might seem like a harmless conversational quirk, boomerasking can have surprisingly negative impacts on our interactions. Boomerasking essentially hijacks the natural flow of conversation, preventing genuine connection from forming. It's like building a wall of self-focus that prevents us from truly seeing and hearing the person in front of us. This conversational pattern can leave people feeling frustrated, unseen, and less inclined to engage in future conversations. Research reveals that boomerasking is surprisingly common. A recent study published in The found that a staggering 90% of people reported having either engaged in or experienced boomerasking firsthand. This suggests that many of us, often unconsciously, fall into this conversational trap. But why do we boomerang our conversations? The motivation behind boomerasking often stems from a desire to appear responsive and build closeness through self-disclosure. However, this backfires because it exposes a lack of genuine interest in the other person's experiences and perspectives. Instead of listening to understand, boomeraskers listen to respond, waiting for their turn to steer the conversation back to familiar territory themselves. This self-centered approach ultimately hinders meaningful connection and leaves the other person feeling unheard and undervalued. Boomerasking comes in various flavors, each with its own unique way of derailing conversations. Ask bragging involves posing a question as a thinly veiled attempt to boast about oneself. For instance, someone might ask, "Are you still working on that project?" only to launch into a detailed account of their own accomplishments. Then there's ask complaining, where a question serves as a springboard for a litany of complaints. Imagine someone asking, "How's the traffic?" before launching into a tirade about their own commuting woes. Lastly, ask sharing involves momentarily acknowledging the other person's response before swiftly pivoting to share one's own opinion, effectively dismissing their perspective. While boomerasking can occur in any social setting, it's most prevalent among friends, followed by romantic partners, co-workers, and then family members. Interestingly, we're less likely to boomerang conversations with acquaintances or strangers, perhaps because we're more conscious of making a good first impression. The good news is that we can break free from the boomerang effect and cultivate more engaging and fulfilling conversations. The key lies in shifting our focus from self-promotion to genuine curiosity about others. Instead of viewing conversations as opportunities to showcase our own experiences, we can approach them as adventures in understanding the people around us. Start by asking open-ended questions that invite more than just a yes or no answer. Actively listen to the other person's response, absorbing their words and nonverbal cues. Resist the urge to interject with your own experiences and instead ask follow-up questions that demonstrate your interest. Remember, meaningful conversations are a two-way street. By practicing active listening, asking thoughtful questions, and resisting the urge to make it all about ourselves, we can transform our interactions from self-centered boomerangs into genuine connections. Let's strive to be the kind of conversationalists who leave others feeling heard, valued, and eager to engage in future dialogues.